Hello, and welcome to the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction's Career Readiness Standards Professional Learning modules. In this first module, we're going to dive into the impact of student disengagement and explore how career readiness can be a powerful lever to re-engage students. We'll also begin to unpack the bigger picture of systems change and understand how career readiness plays a central role in preparing students to be future ready. By the end of this session, you'll have a clear sense of why the Wisconsin Career Readiness Standards, or WCRS, matter, and how they can transform both student outcomes and the educator experience. To make the most of this learning experience, we encourage you to actively engage by taking notes and reflecting on how the content applies to your unique context. Pause the video whenever you need to process the information or explore the provided resources more deeply. If you're able, consider collaborating with colleagues or teams for richer discussions and shared insights. And don't forget to follow up on activities or supplemental materials. Your regional CISA is also there to provide support along the way. As we journey through the Wisconsin Career Readiness Standards Professional Learning modules, you'll also have access to an optional resource, the WCRS Participant Workbook. This digital workbook is available on the WCRS webpage on the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction's website. This resource is designed to help you engage more deeply with the content. It includes guided reflection questions, interactive activity prompts, and space to document your thoughts and ideas as you move through the modules. While optional, the workbook can be a valuable tool for turning learning into action in your school or district. I'll point you to specific sections at key moments in the modules, but feel free to use it in the way that works best for you, jotting notes, brainstorming ideas, or reflecting on connections to your own context. You can print the workbook or use it as a fillable PDF. Let's dive in. Let's take a moment to review today's objectives for Module 1. These will guide our discussions and activities as we move forward. Our first objective is to understand the causes of Gen Z and Gen Alpha student disengagement. We'll explore the unique characteristics of these generations, what's causing their disconnection from traditional schooling models, and how the Wisconsin Career Readiness Standards, or WCRS, can help address these challenges. Our goal is to think about how to make learning more relevant and future-focused for our students. Next, we'll recognize how the WCRS promote engagement through equity and future readiness. You'll learn how integrating career readiness skills into all content areas ensures that every student, no matter their background, is engaged now and prepared for the workforce of the future. Finally, we'll appreciate how the WCRS focus on lifelong learning and future readiness. We'll discuss how they encourage a mindset of continuous improvement, helping students become lifelong learners who can adapt and thrive in an ever-changing job market. By the end of Module 1, you should feel confident in how the WCRS can directly impact student engagement and help foster future-ready learners. To kick off our session today, we're going to start with a reflection activity. I'd like you to think about a skill you wish you had learned earlier in life, something that, looking back, would have been invaluable for your career or personal growth, and that you now believe will be critical for students in the future. Take a moment to write down your thoughts in the participant workbook or in your personal notes. Then, turn to someone next to you and share your reflections. This is a great way to start thinking about the skills that the Wisconsin Career Readiness Standards aim to cultivate in our students. We recommend pausing the video here and taking about 5 minutes to complete this activity individually and then to discuss with those around you. Resume the video when you are ready to move on after completion of this activity. Welcome back. We're going to continue by reviewing today's collective commitments. As we move through today's session, it's important to establish some collective commitments that will guide your team's interactions and ensure that you are able to make the most of your time together as you work through Module 1. First, let's commit to actively listening, engaging fully with the ideas and experiences shared by others. Next, let's reflect with compassion. Understand that we all bring different perspectives, and those differences are what make our discussions rich. We'll focus on problem solving rather than simply admiring the problems. It's easy to point out what's not working, but today is about finding constructive solutions. Let's question and push back in a professional manner, recognizing that the way that our school system has been created and has been maintained over decades of time is something that will take a lot of emotional and social work together to figure out how to move forward. And finally, let's expect and accept non-closure. Module 1 will only start an incredibly important conversation that will need to be continued among your team over weeks, months, and potentially years to create a system that works better for our students' future preparedness. As educators, we know that the world but we need to consider how these shifts have affected our youngest learners, those in their most formative years. We're talking about two generations today. Gen Z, those born between 1997 and approximately 2012, and Gen Alpha, born from 2013 onward. These students have grown up in a time of rapid transformation, and while these changes have equipped them with strengths like being inclusive, digitally literate, and creative, the same shifts have also presented significant challenges. For example, students today often face fragmented attention spans, a result of constant digital stimulation and multitasking. Many struggle with social isolation and reduced social skills as digital interactions have often replaced face-to-face relationships. Sleep deprivation has become increasingly common, with our tech-driven world disrupting healthy routines. And perhaps most concerning, these students experience heightened anxiety, emotional insecurity, and lower resilience in dealing with adversity. We see the effects of these challenges everywhere, in academic achievement, student well-being, behavior, and attendance. In many ways, our current educational system has failed to fully address or adapt to these changing realities. And that's why our work with the Wisconsin Career Readiness Standards is so crucial. We need to rethink how we engage, support, and prepare Gen Z and Gen Alpha to thrive in a world that continues to evolve at a breakneck pace. This quote from Dr. Jal Mehta of Harvard's Graduate School of Education points to one of the most pressing and persistent challenges in our classrooms today: student disengagement. While we often focus on test scores and academic achievement, the root issue runs deeper. Many students are simply not connecting with the learning experiences we provide. Disengagement is a sign that the system is failing to meet students where they are, and it's preventing them from reaching their full potential. Addressing this disengagement is not just about improving test scores. It's about making learning more relevant, creating environments where students feel seen and valued, and equipping them with skills that resonate with their future aspirations. This is exactly where the Wisconsin Career Readiness Standards can come into play. They're designed to re-engage students by making their education more meaningful, more connected to the real world, and ultimately more empowering. Let's begin with some additional statistics. 41% of Gen Z students report feeling uninterested in their learning at school. This isn't just a matter of preference, it's a reflection of a deeper issue. When nearly half of our students feel uninterested, it signals that something fundamental is missing from their educational experience. Whether it's lack of relevance or the failure to connect learning with their real-world interests, students are tuning out, and disengagement, as we know, is a slippery slope. In addition to feeling uninterested, over half of Gen Z students, approximately 51%, don't feel challenged by their current educational programs. When students don't feel challenged, they're less likely to push themselves, explore their potential, or become deeply invested in their learning. If students feel like school is just something to get through, rather than something that stretches them and sparks their curiosity, we've already lost a critical opportunity to engage them. Even more concerning, 54% of students report that their educational program is not connected to their strengths. This suggests that many students don't see how school can help them grow in areas that matter to them personally. When learning feels disconnected from students' individual strengths and interests, it's difficult for them to stay motivated. They don't feel seen, and as a result, they may not see the value in what they're learning. But these smaller signs of disengagement, like not feeling challenged, interested, or connected, are contributing to a much larger issue: the widespread mental health crisis among Wisconsin's Gen Z students. According to the 2023 Youth Risk Behavior Survey, 59% of students are experiencing serious mental health challenges, with nearly 52% of students reporting symptoms clinically significant in the realm of anxiety. Depression symptoms affect about 35% of students, and unhealthy coping strategies like non-suicidal self-harm or suicidal ideation are alarmingly prevalent, with 21% of students engaging in these types of behaviors and about 19% seriously considering suicide. These are not just statistics. They represent real young lives struggling to navigate an increasingly complex world. These mental health challenges, along with disengagement, have a direct impact on academic outcomes. In Wisconsin, we see very low rates of English language arts or ELA proficiency across all grade levels. When students are not emotionally or mentally well, their ability to perform academically diminishes. Disengagement and emotional distress create barriers to learning, which is why addressing these issues is critical, not just for well-being, but also for academic access, engagement, progress, and ultimately success. This issue extends beyond just ELA. Math proficiency rates across Wisconsin are equally concerning. Again, disengagement and mental health challenges likely play a significant role here. If students don't feel connected to what they're learning, and if they don't feel supported emotionally, their academic performance suffers across the board. These trends in proficiency are clear indicators that we need to rethink how we're supporting students, not just academically, but holistically. Finally, perhaps the clearest indicator of disengagement is the alarming rate of absenteeism in our schools. In Wisconsin, students are collectively missing over 11 million days of school each year. Nearly 150,000 students are considered chronically absent. This is a stark reminder that disengagement is not just about what happens in the classroom. It's about whether students are even showing up. When students don't see the value of being at school, whether due to mental health challenges, lack of connection, or feelings of irrelevance, they simply don't attend. These numbers highlight the urgent need for systemic change, one that reimagines how we engage students, support their well-being, and prepare them for a future that looks very different from the one our current system was designed for. All of this data in turn demonstrates for us that Wisconsin students are not connected to their education, nor is it a source of engagement and well-being. As we consider solutions to address the disengagement of students across Wisconsin, it's important to spotlight career and technical education, or CTE, as a potential game changer. The data tells a compelling story. In Wisconsin, students who become CTE concentrators, meaning students who complete 2 or more CTE courses, are significantly more likely to graduate from high school. This not only underscores their engagement in coursework, but also highlights the value of connecting learning to real-world skills and career pathways. Career readiness programs, like those offered through CTE, provide students with hands-on, practical experiences that help them see the relevance of their education in shaping their futures. These programs can make learning meaningful and tangible, fostering a sense of purpose and commitment that we know are critical to engagement. As we review the graph on this slide, we see clear evidence of the impact CTE has on student success. The increased graduation rates among CTE concentrators remind us that career readiness isn't just about preparing for the workforce. It's about equipping students to thrive, stay engaged, and achieve their full potential. This data points us toward a solution, a way to rewrite the narrative of disengagement in Wisconsin schools. By investing in and expanding career readiness opportunities, we can create systemic change that supports our students, their families, and our communities. Now that we've explored some of the data on student disengagement and the broader challenges facing Gen Z and Gen Alpha, let's take a moment to reflect on your own experiences. What signs of disengagement have you observed in your students? Think about the behaviors, attitudes, or even changes in participation that you have noticed. And then consider this. In what ways do you believe career readiness, through targeted skill development, real-world learning opportunities, or career-connected experiences, could help re-engage these generations of students in your system? Let's start by taking a few minutes to consider these questions. Jot your own personal thoughts down in your participant workbook or in your personal notes. Then, take a few minutes to discuss your responses with your group. Feel free to pause the video here and return to the recording when you and your teammates are ready to move on. Welcome back. Thank you for participating in that activity. We're ready to move on to the idea of career readiness and the Wisconsin Career Readiness Standards. What you likely just discussed with your group is exactly why the Wisconsin Career Readiness Standards were built, and why they were specifically built around 3 dimensions: career-ready skills, life-ready skills, and learning-ready skills. These aren't separate initiatives. They're a way to reconnect students to school by helping them see relevance, build essential skills, and prepare for their futures. Let's take a look at how these 3 pieces come together. This quote really highlights a critical point in our work. For K-12 students, the most important predictor of whether they feel excited about and prepared for their future, even when controlling for demographic differences such as gender, race, and household income, is the extent to which they feel engaged at school. It's a powerful reminder that engagement isn't just about academic success. It's about whether students feel connected to their learning, to their future, and ultimately to the opportunities that lie ahead. Regardless of background, when students feel engaged, they're more likely to feel hopeful and prepared for what's next. And that's why we're here today, because career readiness and the Wisconsin Career Readiness Standards are tools that can help us reignite that engagement and prepare students for the real-world challenges and opportunities ahead. This statistic alone should make us pause. A significant portion of our Wisconsin graduates, 35%, are leaving our K-12 system feeling unprepared for the workforce. This means over a third of students feel like their education has not equipped them with the tools and skills they need to succeed in the careers they will pursue after graduation. For a system that aims to prepare students for their futures, we need to ask ourselves, how can we address this gap? What changes can we make to ensure students leave high school feeling ready to take on the world of work? What's even more alarming is that we see the biggest gap in engagement for students whose primary goal is actually career readiness. Recent research shows that students planning to attend college are the most engaged in our K-12 educational systems, while students who do not plan to attend college are the most disengaged on every measure. This presents a critical equity issue. Students who might benefit the most from career readiness initiatives are often the ones who are the least supported and engaged in school. This gap is a call to action, highlighting the need to support all students, regardless of their post-high school plans, to feel connected and prepared. The world of work has also changed drastically, and the skills that employers now value reflect that shift. In the past, basic skills like reading, writing, and arithmetic were sufficient for most jobs. Today, employers are looking for far more complex skill sets: problem solving, critical thinking, and creativity. Our students need to be equipped with these skills if they're going to thrive in an increasingly complex and ever-changing workforce. The education that was enough in 1970 won't cut it now or in the future. The demands of the modern workforce are evolving at an unprecedented pace, and with them the skills required to succeed. While foundational abilities remain important, they are now joined by a new wave of competencies that emphasize adaptability, innovation, and collaboration. Take a look at the top 10 skills employers are increasingly prioritizing. Creative and analytical thinking, technological literacy, and systems thinking are just the beginning. Traits like curiosity, resilience, and agility help individuals thrive in uncertain environments, while understanding AI and big data ensures readiness for tech-driven roles. Skills in self-awareness, talent management, and service orientation reflect the growing need for emotional intelligence and interpersonal capabilities. These aren't just workplace skills, they're life skills. As educators, it's critical we align our teaching practices to prepare students for this new reality, equipping them to navigate and excel in a world where change is the only constant. And it's not just students who are feeling the impact of these changes. Many professionals already in the workforce are realizing that they need to reskill to stay competitive. Rapid technological advancements mean that jobs today are continually being transformed, and many workers must go back to develop new competencies. This further highlights the need to ensure that students leave our K-12 system with a strong foundation in critical, adaptable skills, so they're better equipped to thrive in this dynamic environment. We're also seeing significant job shifts by industry. Jobs requiring physical and manual labor, as well as basic cognitive skills, are on the decline. Meanwhile, jobs requiring higher cognitive skills, social and emotional skills, and advanced technology skills are increasing. If we want our students to thrive in this future workforce, we need to make sure our educational system is designed to develop these exact skills. This is why it's more urgent than ever to address student disengagement and prioritize career readiness as a solution across all content areas. As we think about how we can re-engage our students and prepare them for the future, it's important to consider how students are asking for these very things we're discussing in this module. Career readiness is a journey, and for most students, that journey starts with their teachers. Teachers play a critical role in introducing students to career readiness activities, and their level of engagement, enthusiasm, and encouragement directly impacts how students perceive these opportunities. What students really want is for career readiness to begin earlier and happen more frequently. They're looking for activities that are hands-on and interactive, giving them real-world insights. They want to connect with professionals in careers they're curious about and explore all of their post-secondary educational options. Our role as educators is to ensure these experiences are meaningful and accessible to all. Students also need to understand how their learning connects to their future goals, and this relevance needs to be clear in all of their classes. When students see the value of what they are learning, they're more engaged and motivated. Providing them with opportunities for choice and voice in their education further enhances this engagement. Additionally, high school graduates consistently emphasize the importance of teaching key skills like communication, critical thinking, and self or time management during their K-12 education. These are foundational skills that not only support academic success, but also prepare students for life beyond school. Ultimately, students are telling us they need to see how what they are learning in class is relevant to their future careers. When students have more choice and voice in their learning, they are more engaged. The Wisconsin DPI's Youth Voice and Career Readiness Survey from 2022 echoes many of these same sentiments. When asked which skills were most important to teach in K-12, high school graduates overwhelmingly mentioned communication, critical thinking, and time or self-management. But they also pointed to other critical life skills, skills like financial literacy, independence, diversity and inclusion, and even basic home and auto repair. These results remind us that career readiness isn't just about preparing students for their future jobs. It's also about preparing them to be successful, responsible adults who engage in lifelong learning. Addressing these areas can help ensure that students leave our K-12 system equipped for both the workforce and life itself. In a time when we are scrambling for answers and solutions, youth voice, community voice, and ongoing research regarding the future economy of our world indicates that a powerful tool is right in front of us. Career readiness is not just about skill development. It's an internal advocacy tool for us as educators. It increases students' sense of belonging, re-engages them in their learning, and helps them find relevance and meaning in their education. Career readiness activities motivate students academically because they can see the connections between what they're learning in school and their future. What's most important is that career readiness ensures that all students, not just those bound for a 4-year college, have a plan for success after high school. It's about equity, making sure every student is equipped and prepared for their future, no matter what path they desire to take. When we spread these messages within our systems, we not only grow knowledge about this powerful option, but we grow the capacity for more educators and educational leaders to center career readiness within our systems. Career readiness is also an external advocacy tool that supports us in spreading the message to our communities. It's strongly aligned with the priorities of families. Parents want their children to be prepared for life after high school. Career readiness also strengthens the connection between schools and the broader community. It supports healthy and sustainable local economies by ensuring that students are equipped with the skills that are in demand locally. Additionally, career readiness has broad bipartisan support in the legislature because everyone agrees students should leave high school ready for the future. Career readiness, when implemented well, fosters community support, builds sustainable connections, and ultimately benefits everyone. Whatever the goals are of your community, career readiness can offer promising outcomes to help you and everyone that you live and work with achieve those goals. Now that we've reviewed the importance of career readiness for both students and communities, it's time to put those ideas into words. This is our concluding activity for Module 1, and we recommend you taking the time to work your way through this individually and with your team. These are the activity instructions. As an individual, imagine that someone asked you, why does career readiness matter? Write down the one key point you'd want them to remember. Try to focus on one of these 3 areas: the impact of disengagement on Gen Z and Gen Alpha, how career readiness can re-engage students and is an excellent solution for our K-12 systems, and why these skills are essential for the future of our individual students, their families, and the health and prosperity of our communities. After you've had some time to work individually on one key point for yourself, work together as a team to place your responses together and group them into themes. For example, how many of you wrote down ideas that are about engagement or shifting the classroom culture? How many of you wrote down ideas that were about future prosperity of your communities? As a group, look at the themes that your team identified and the specific reasons under each theme that you pulled out of Module 1. What messages stand out as the most important for your school or district to share? How could these themes shape the way you talk about WCRS with staff, families, or community partners? What this activity will collectively get for you and for your team is that instead of one polished speech, your group is building a message map, a set of clear, authentic talking points that you can use in conversations with different audiences. As you work together to build this message map, this is a great place to pause your recording and take time to complete the activity. Don't underestimate the power of a message map as you work to expand the number of stakeholders in your district who believe in this work and want to contribute to your vision. We recommend using the optional participant workbook to jot down your key takeaways from this activity for the future. After you're finished with your individual and team work, feel free to restart the recording when you're ready to proceed and conclude Module 1. Welcome back, and thank you all for your thoughtful contributions today. We hope this activity helped you all see as a team the different ways we can explain why career readiness for your students, their families, and your community and school, and together how those messages can build a strong shared language to support our students. As our optimistic closure today, remember, disengagement is one of the greatest challenges facing Gen Z and Gen Alpha, but it's not a dead end. By centering career readiness, we give students relevance, purpose, and the skills they need to thrive. The steps we take as educators, no matter how small, can help move us toward creating classrooms where every student sees their future reflected in their learning. Thanks for joining us for Module 1. We look forward to seeing you again for Module 2.